There. Thanks for your patience. It is Saturday, September 27th. I'm T. Waldron, and I'm usually joined by my trusty cat Pumpkin, but she's on the floor right now. And Fractal's over here. Do you want to come up here? No? Okay. She said no, too. So it's just us tonight. Hi, Kevin. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. So I hope you had a good week. Woo, let's see. Let's get in the frame here. Okay, that's good. So how was your week? Was it good? Mine was good. It was a really good week, and thanks for the thumbs up. Yeah, it was really, really good. I'm gonna shut this TV on here in the background. Yeah, I got that paper in finally. And now I have another one due. So, meh. I know, yeah, right? Well, one more in the books, right? Meh, that's kind of perfect. But you know what? We're here. So thank you for tuning in. Hi, Sudash. Oh, good morning. Good morning. Where are you tuning in from? I would love to know. We're on the East Coast of the U.S. So welcome. So welcome to our longtime viewers and our new viewers. This week, I'm speaking about the series Rewired that was put together by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I'd gone to his week-long meditation retreat, and I'm trying to recapture that magic and share it with you. So he has a series on Gaia, which, by the way, if you want to watch it, which I highly I cannot recommend you to watch it enough, because it's 27 or so minute episodes. I think there's like 12 or 13 of them, and they each have a different topic, and they're sequential. So this is the fifth one that I'm talking about. This one is about brainwaves, which is just fascinating. I didn't know the different types of brainwaves. Like he had mentioned them during the retreat, but I didn't put together the timing of them and all that. So it's really interesting because our different brain waves function differently, and they have different jobs in our head. Yeah, I'm from the East Coast of the U.S., Sudash. Where are you from? If it's morning there, I'm guessing you're somewhere across the world. So thanks for tuning in. So yeah, and basically this episode that it's the fifth episode of the series. The one before was about fight or flight and our nervous system and how we deal with stress, and how most of us in this day and age are in continual stress all the time, which I agree. So it's up to us to try to identify that if that is the case, and then do something about it. Oh, hi, buddy. Welcome. Oh, by the way, cheers to you. If you have a beverage, this is an energy drink, actually, with some ice. It's been a long day. Hoi. Hi there, Pookie. I love your names. Very cool. By the way, I want to say thank you to our moderator, Imran Hossain, who is a YouTube SEO specialist, and he does a great job optimizing our search engine optimization and making thumbnails for the page. Yeah, I don't know who that is, but I've heard that before. You do. Cheers to you. Good. Cougar. Oh, thank you very much, Robert. Okay. Anywho, let's get back to it, because this is mom energy, and I don't, that doesn't offend me at all. All right. So when he says about our brain waves. Okay. Again, this is Dr. Joe Dispenza. Okay. When we focus our attention on 3D reality, we limit our view of reality through habit and conditioning. So we kind of get in that mode, like, did you ever go on autopilot when you wake up? It's like maybe in the morning, on Monday mornings, go to work, and you're like not even focused on what you're doing. You're just trying to get through that morning and just get yourself to work in one piece. So you kind of go on autopilot, or else you get in your car if you drive and you're driving somewhere, And if it's somewhere you go to like every day or very often, you sometimes arrive there and you don't even know how you got there. That's autopilot, which happens. Oh, hello, Jamie. Hey, buddy. Okay. So yeah. So we're talking about our brain waves. So our brain focuses often on our 3D world, and this is called convergent focus. So we're using our senses. We're using our vision. We're using our hearing. We're using our sometimes sense of smell. Sometimes taste. Sometimes feel. Like this is cold. It's condensing. There's water dripping everywhere. So we're processing all that information from the outside world, and that's convergent focus. Stress amplifies this process. So when we are stressed out, we are focused on everything outside of us, all these stimuli coming at us. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I don't know that song. But I am Sicilian, so that's funny you mentioned that. A little bit Sicilian. Robert, you're funny. Thank you. Bende. Autumn, hi, welcome back. Conversion. Yeah, stress is puts so much stress on our nervous system, right? Yeah. Okay. CBD. Yeah, you know what? I understand that. Not, that's what I like to do though. Who is that? Rob. I agree with you on the CBD and all that stuff, but your body actually is the best pharmacist. So what I'm trying to learn with this Dr. Joe Dispenza stuff is to learn how to regulate my own nervous system and release those chemicals, because we actually can release. Did you know your pineal gland can release DMT? Like, that is wild. That is, and it's true. Kevin, yeah, you are. You are silly. I know. I have to practice guitar. I'll practice one day, and we'll do guitar one week. Not today though. I haven't practiced. Practiced in like weeks. I sometimes play guitar for my cat. She likes it. Well, one of the cats. The other one just ignores me. Anywho, brain waves. They're formed by nerves firing in different electromagnetic frequencies. So by using an EEG machine, now that stands for, I always thought that was electromagnetic something machine. No, it's electroencephalographic machine. And they hook up a cap to the different parts of the brain, and it has little sensors, and they put, I don't know, it's some sort of like gel stuff, so it sort of hooks up to I think 19 different parts of their brain, and they do readings so they can tell how your brain is firing and wiring. Yeah. Oh, good. I appreciate that, yo boy. Good evening, Mr. Art. Hi, Joa. Wow. Welcome, Alaska, Joa. Yes, I am scientific. Okay. Okay. So the different types of brain waves are in different like speeds. They're different. They're called hertz. Okay. The lowest one is called alpha, which actually that is not true. That is not true at all. The lowest one is called delta, which is 0.5 to 4 cycles per second. And that's in our neocortex. That's when we are, it slows in our neocortex. Now, theta is 4 to 8 cycles per second. And that's the magic one. When we're falling asleep, when we are sort of in a super hypnotic state, and that's when we're highly suggestible. And that's the theta cycles are like what most kids are at, like when they're 6 or 7 or younger. They're in the theta state. They're not thinking critically. Their neocortex isn't even fully developed yet. They're in like, they're absorbing everything, which is a very powerful state, which we can get to, but we have to figure out how. Okay. Oh yeah, that's that guitar, it's a electric and acoustic guitar. Yeah, neocortex. Now cortex. Oh, here comes the cat. There she is. There's Pumpkin. She wanted to come and say hi to you. We usually do this live in the morning, so she's not used to the schedule. It threw her all off. Can you say hello, Pumpkin? No, she's a cat. She's not going to say hello. Okay, so we got the delta, low cycles. Theta is highly, like when we're falling asleep, highly suggestible. Alpha is 8 to 13 cycles a second. Now, then we get to, and those are our subconscious levels, okay? Now, then we get to our conscious levels where our neocortex is going, firing off like crazy. Low beta is good for learning. Like if you're kind of focused and awake and you're just sitting in class and you're taking notes, that's ideal for that. But mid beta is like a little bit more, that's 16 to 22 cycles a second. Now high beta is like and he uses this example, if your professor walks in and says, okay, thanks for coming to class today, I'm giving you a quiz right now, and if you don't pass, you fail the whole course. So then your brain shifts into high beta, which is like emergency mode. It's stress. It causes our brain and our heart to function incoherently. So it's like we're probably, if that happens when we're under stress, we're looking around at the external stimuli. Our brain is not firing together. It's inefficient. It's good for if we're in a stressful moment and we need to run or something, but it's not maintainable. And most of us are operating in that high beta all the time. All right, what have you guys been saying while I was on my rant there? Let's see. And by the way, thank you, Imran, for keeping the chat mom energy. Yeah, that's right, Rob. This is Pumpkin. She's 16 and a half. I love you all too, Starboy. Thank you. I know. You know what, Wilbur? I can only reach out to so many people. Whoever wants to be part of the intellectual discussion, you're welcome to stay. Okay. So when we have coherence, we have order, cadence, rhythm between our heart and our brain. And that is when we can create a huge electromagnetic field around our body, which can expand 9 feet away from us. 9 feet on either side. So that's 3 meters on either side of us. That's incredible. That's very incredible. When we are in our subconscious, our limbic brain, we're in touch with our autonomic nervous system, and we are like in almost like flow state, I think, personally. And he calls that getting beyond yourself. So, I don't know, Unknown. I hope your sound clears up. So, yeah. The frequency of EM radiatory waves. I don't know. Look that up, okay? If you can Google that. Electromagnetic I don't know what that is. I don't know what that frequency is. Nayamule Hoke, welcome. Yeah, let go of the guitar, guys. We'll talk about that another day. By the way, a friend of mine is like, people are really talking about that guitar. You should play. I'm like, no, trust me. This is much more interesting. Okay, so when we can get our attention and our frequency on a coherent state, we feel whole and connected with life. That's getting our brain waves to the subconscious state. We can just feel such peace and connection, and actually we can get to a gamma state, which then brings on, and this is where we get to the DMT and stuff. It brings on a feeling of joy and peace. And where's the other one? It's like 3 things on there. You feel whole and connected with life. Yeah, you feel joy, peace, and I don't know where to put that note. Oh, ecstasy, bliss, and euphoria. Who doesn't want that? And that is all from the chemicals that your brain can release. Really wild stuff. Like, and I was on that week-long retreat that was for meditation, and we actually did it. I mean, it was intense. Like sometimes we were meditating for hours. It was intense. And I never thought I could sit that long, but you like get out of your, once you get quote beyond yourself, you don't even know where, like you lose yourself. You're like, you don't even pay attention to what's around you. Obviously you've got to be in a safe space and you've got to be with people you trust, but you just go within, and it's so powerful. And you move your attention from the exterior materialistic world to your interior, to know yourself. And this is what I've been doing on my channel for a couple of years now, is getting to be my best self, and by doing that you need to know and then love yourself. So let's see what you guys have been saying. Flow state. Yep. Peter Buxton, welcome. Steve, hey from Australia, welcome back. Endorphins, oh my gosh, yes, endogenous morphine. Yep. So yeah, your pineal gland releases also though melatonin and serotonin and the DMT. Yeah, good day, Ignatius. Yeah, I do like hip hop. It's very, very good. Okay. So what he says for the meditation, you want to keep your attention on the generous present moment. So this is something we had to like train ourselves to do, because when you close your eyes to meditate, what happens? Okay, you think about all the things that you have to do. Maybe you think about stuff in the past that you wish you didn't do or you wish you did or whatever, but you have to let all that go and just be in the moment. Focus on your breathing. Focus on he has us focus on nothing, no one, nowhere, and just expanding our focus to exclude anything in the external environment. So, it was hard. It's like going to the gym. You have to practice it. So basically, he says you are pure consciousness, and you can affect your ability to change your environments and your own genetic destiny. So we're going to learn about that next time. Oh, Alex, I don't smoke anymore. But thank you for asking. I don't need to. I've got the meditation. Okay? All right. So that was that. That was like the technical stuff. Do I read the dictionary? No. That's so boring. But, okay. This is stuff that applies to everybody, whether you're into this whole meditation stuff or not. This is about abundance, okay? And this is money. So I think this new topic. You'll find this all appealing. So I heard this today, and I want to share it with you because it does affect everyone. Most of the environment around us, things we use every day are reliant on electromagnetic fields. That's true. I didn't realize most of the things, but it's amazing how, did you ever have somebody walk in a room and you feel like they're good energy, or maybe they drain you and they feel very negative? That's a thing. It's not, you may be imagining it, but it also could be their electromagnetic field. But now Art's saying that there are items that we use every day that also use electromagnetic field, which makes a lot of sense. Do you eat breakfast or skip it? Accurate question. First meal of the day. Oh yeah, that's a great question, Alex. It's a little off topic, but I try to intermittent fast. So I try to have a shake in the morning or something like liquid until midday, because I try to do time restricted eating, because otherwise I would eat all day. Thanks, Robert. Okay, so guess how many forms of abundance there are, okay? New topic. We're going to talk about abundance now, because this is very appealing to people. A lot of people want to know, okay, how do I get rich quick? And you may already be rich and not even know it. So I want to just share this idea with you. Yeah, Alex, I can walk through the morning routine at the end of this. Remind me, but I want to get through I got this ready for tonight. So that's a whole other topic, but I'm happy to share it with you. But right now, there's 5 forms of abundance that you may not even know about. And by the way, I get up at 3:45 every morning. I meditate, I go to the gym, I do a lot. So we'll talk about it at the end, so hang out and then remind me. Okay, so there's 5 forms of abundance. The ability to do what you want to do when you need to do it is my definition of abundance. So, yeah, abundance can be rich, filthy rich, whatever. That's fine. But also, what if you're rich and then you're sick? Or what if you're rich and you're completely alone? So I think it's more, this is a broader interpretation of abundance. But the ability to do what you want to do when you need to do it. I think that's a good, it's like shifting the focus a little bit. So there's 5 different types. Obviously, the first one is money, right? Money is the one that comes to mind first. It's the one we all focus on here in America. And oh, that's coming. What if you're rich and Jesus tells you to give away all your money and follow him? Would you do it? Yeah, Omni. Oh, that's a great question. We'll get to that. Or maybe we won't. I'm not really sure. So money is seen as the most effective form of abundance. But believe it or not, if you think about our stock market, at least here in the US, it's based on people's emotions. Like, I remember thinking that as a kid, like if you ever saw pictures of the stock floor where people are going, buy, sell, and then somebody hears a rumor and then stock prices tank and then the whole economy gets all in disarray, right? So it's very, very unstable. I mean, overall it's stable, I guess, but it doesn't have to, if it weren't depending on people's emotions quite so much, it would definitely be more stable. So it's a symbolic object based on emotional fluctuations of individuals. And the second type of abundance, which is kind of interesting, which I didn't even know I was doing this, and it was kind of neat to hear this today, was trade for something. Like, okay, I know how to, I used to own a ceramic studio, so I would make ceramics, and a friend of mine did jewelry, so then we would trade. We would exchange goods or services for, barter, trade. And that's a really good, if you're talented at something, then you're abundant. You have something to trade. You have something, whether you trade it for money, whether you trade it for another object, whatever. But that's kind of interesting, bartering, exchanging talent or items for something valuable. The third type is being given or receiving a gift. Imagine receiving, if somebody just gives you, like, let's say somebody says, you know what, you're a good kid, here's $1 million. That's abundant. Now, here in America, we have a hard time sometimes accepting gifts for some reason. Okay, let's see, what are you guys up to? Okay, Omni, well, I'll see you later. You may ask me something, Michael. I may or may not answer. Yes, I'll give my money up. I need no money. Charmaine, you're funny. Okay. Definitely don't want to empty my mind. You're going to be filled up with something of the Lord. Okay. Rumpel. Okay. Reminds me of the Overton window, where people accept social standards idea of any given time based on what's normal. Then that's interesting. I never heard of that. Thank you. Good morning, Bajit. Kevin, I have always had sufficient money, but it never seemed to be enough. I know what you mean. Like, it's just enough. So what this concept is, there's like 5 different types of abundance, and it's encouraging us to look at different forms of abundance to like combine together to help us feel more abundant. Because, like, let's say you have all the money, right? But then you don't have like a talent and you're sitting there, or the other one is being given or receiving a gift. It's very nice when you express your gratitude. You're giving the gift back to the person who gave you something. So that's also a form of exchange. And that's hard for us. Like here in America, sometimes people feel very guilty taking gifts. Like a lot of people are good with giving gifts, and then some people just take. But that's a whole other issue. But a lot of people just like to do things for others and want to be selfless, and they think that's selfish if they accept something. So it's kind of a strange psychology with that. But accepting a gift graciously and being grateful is a form of giving. So that's just something to think about. Number 4, the fourth type of abundance, synchronicities are another form of abundance. And this is pretty wild. If you start looking for them in your life, I consider them as a sign I'm moving in the right direction. So you may have a special number that means something to you, or, like a sign from God that you say, oh, God did this for me, and that's a synchronicity in your life, whatever it may be. And wherever you think, whatever it means to you, wherever that came from, that's abundance, and when things work out and you didn't expect them to, that's a synchronicity. That's abundance. It's a form of abundance, which we don't often count, but it's leading us to our goal of doing what we want to do when we need to do it. Right, Pumpkin? Yeah. And the fifth form of abundance, and this one's kind of interesting, is imagination or inspiration. And that's when our higher mind is sending us messages. Did you ever, get creative and think of something really cool, or think of a creative solution to your problem, or come up with resources that are different or unusual, and you use your mind to do it? That's abundance. Yeah. Let's see. Hello, Alstor. Oh, hello, Pumpkin. Hi. Jermaine. People in America have a hard time giving gifts. Yeah, I think so. Senho. Hi, Bucksheets. I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, a lot of, and some people, you're right. Some people don't give gifts at all in America. You're right, Jermaine. Right. That's a great question, Rumpel. How many people are talented and don't know it from the grind? Right. You have to kind of step back and see what, like you maybe have hobbies or passions, and you want to figure out what you're good at. I used to own a ceramic studio, and I loved doing that, and it was really fun. But then I got offered a corporate job, and it was nice having, insurance and benefits and a paycheck every week. So I went with that for a while, 17 and a half years actually. And now I said, oh, I want to go back to school. So now I'm in school full time pursuing 2 degrees. And I saved up. I mean, it wasn't like I just quit and said, oh, that's it. But like I was in that mode, like working, and I worked really hard, and it was a rewarding job, but still it wasn't my passion. I loved doing it, and it was nice, but it wasn't like what I'm doing now is studying this stuff and learning about being my best self. That's really my passion right now. And yeah, I'm not as financially on the surface doing as well, like with money in the bank, etc. However, I have synchronicities, and I'm trading talent. I'm going and teaching classes places, and then there's a lot happening that I feel more abundant now, but in different ways. So that's why this really resonated with me. So I'm not like so focused on the money, because we can be abundant, and then if we feel abundant, then it draws more abundance. So I'm really trying to feel abundant, and I am feeling abundant, if that makes sense. Hi, Casey. Thank you for subscribing. Yes, great question on the cat you picked up. She is 16 and a half years old. Huh, Pumpkin? She's a senior citizen. I know, you're very nice. So speaking of synchronicities, okay, so I worked a corporate job. I worked at an assisted living for senior citizens, and I always loved this cat. Like, I knew her for maybe 5 or 7 years. Her owner moved in, and I would go visit her and stuff. And I was like, oh gosh, I love her so much. And then the owner kind of got sick, and the sister said, oh, I said, if you ever need somebody to adopt Pumpkin, let me know. And she said, oh, there's about 7 people who want her ahead of you in line. And I said, okay, I guess it wasn't meant to be. And then stuff happened. And then the sister called me and said, hey, can you still take Pumpkin? Because everybody else fell through. And I'm like, absolutely. Yeah, so that's how we ended up together. And she got me through some tough times. And that's why I named my channel Chatting with My Cat, because she's a good listener, even though she's got a grumpy face. Oh, and it turns out her previous owner, was a priest, and my uncle was a priest, and they knew each other in Rome. Like, they were buddies. And so it was just a connection, it's meant to be. So, like, that's a blessing, Yeah. Pumpkin is almost 17 years old, Wilbur. That is so true. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Lolita. Thank you. What you're saying is that we need consciousness, or awareness, and also what referred to mindfulness. Yes, we are too preoccupied and distracted. Hence the meditation. That is so true, Art. Yeah. That's another form of abundance. When we can value our time with ourselves. I don't think I listed that, but that's true. Yeah, hi Mimi. Okay. Hi James. Hey. Calvin Harris. Oh yeah, I like Frank Ocean, Amigos. Cool. Hi Casey. Yeah, she's 16 and a half. She'll be 17 soon. Hi, Akhtar. Gomin, hi. Rumpel. Yeah. I'm glad you heard that. I know. People have asked if she's a bear, or if she's a cat, or if she's a dog. And she's a cat. That's funny, Incognito. You're funny. Yeah, no, it's decoration right now. I play privately for the cat. But yeah, thanks, Ray. So yeah, she likes it. She'll jump back and forth over my lap while I'm playing. She'll be like, okay. Yeah, so we were just talking about the 5 different forms of abundance. So there's money, bartering your talents or your abilities or your perhaps items you may have. The third thing is being given or receiving a gift. I mean, that's abundance if someone gives you a gift, right? Synchronicities are another form of abundance. So I encourage you to look at your life and see when stuff lines up, and then be grateful for that. And then the 5th one is imagination or inspiration. So, and again, I started saying this, and I think I forgot to finish it, but communication between our higher mind and our analytical mind. So when our entire mind is working together in imagination and inspiration, like, we can think of different things. Like, let's say, oh, I need to solve this problem. Sometimes you'll get an inspiration in your imagination, and you'll be like, oh, maybe I'll try this. And that's a gift. That's abundance. That's when you can think and use your full mind. And I think that's what Art was alluding to as well with the meditation. The meditation helps us get that higher mind active and get it used to being in the spotlight, because otherwise our analytical mind, which we talked about a lot earlier, it runs the show. It's there and it's doing its job. It's supposed to do that. It's keeping us safe and making sure that we are moving through the world properly and socially properly and all that. But also sometimes it can constrict us a little bit. It can keep us from expressing ourselves or being creative or being imaginative, doing stuff outside the box. So it's getting that balance between the two minds. When you're being your best self, abundance will come in more than one form. So you may get abundance, one type of abundance first, and then get a synchronicity. You might get like a little bit of cash, and then you have a synchronicity and you're like, oh, and then you have a good idea, and then you go meet somebody, and then you trade some, do some work for them, and they do some work for you. So it can be, it sort of compounds on itself. And you have to sort of loosen your idea of what it's supposed to look like. Because a lot of us are like, well, I just want $1 million, and that's how I know I'm abundant. Well, you know what? Okay, but you're limiting yourself, because you could be enjoying a lot of different stuff. And if you just say it's got to be this way, then you're only hurting yourself. So that's something. And we want to, as I just said earlier, we want to be the whole person. Half our mind is spiritual, half our mind is physical. So we want to put those together and use them both, so that we can operate in the physical world, but use our spiritual side, because that's how we're strong. Yeah, and allow it to take form as the universe presents itself to you. Let's see what you guys have been saying. Yeah, the cat gets a private concert. Yeah, she does, actually. She likes it. The other cat doesn't even pay attention. Incognito. That's so funny. Our internal conflicts use up a lot of energy. Oh my gosh. Boy, you're very wise tonight, Art. You're usually wise, but tonight it's extra. Cheers. Internal conflicts do use up a lot of energy. That is so true. And sometimes you don't even know you're having an internal conflict. That is wild. Like when you are doing something and again, you're on autopilot, you're going about your life and you're thinking, okay, I'm just going to, do what I do. And then if you stop and take a look back from it, take a step back and you say, how is this making me feel? Am I enjoying this? Is this good for me? Am I being honest with myself? Am I being forthright? And then you might say, oh, you know what? That's in conflict with what I really believe, or that's not who I am, or that's not what I want to do. Whatever. You can find, sometimes there's all different stuff that could happen. And then when you realize that, and maybe you change it, maybe you have the courage to change it. Because you could keep going. You could say, well, you know what? It's just easier to keep it going and not disturb the situation, right? Or you can say, you know what? I deserve to be true to myself, and that can be hard. That could cause some discomfort, cause some pain, be difficult. It could feel uncomfortable sometimes. Maybe you have to confront yourself. Maybe you have to confront somebody else. Ooh, it's hard. But then afterwards, you've given yourself peace. You've given yourself your best shot. So that's self-love. All right, what are we saying in here? Okay, yeah. Good. Yeah, that's right, Rumple. He agrees. It's that vodka. No, I don't drink either. It's an energy drink. Cheers to you. Rubens, let's see. Oh, what do you have here? I've been meditating a lot over the past few years, and I feel like now it's time to start expressing more of what I've been building. Yes, good. That's good. Go with what go with your vibes. Absolutely. Anyway, all right, let me wrap it up because it's getting toward the end here. Okay, so yeah, so overall, and this was another part of what I heard today, and eventually I'm hearing this from a person, and I'm kind of like, all right, I'm gonna try this stuff out and see if it works for me, and then when it does, I'll eventually reveal the source. But right now, try this stuff out. So they said, act on your highest passion every moment that you can do it to the best of your ability. Take it as far as you can until you can take it no further, with no insistence or assumption as to the outcome, and stay positive. So, like, I'm using that as an example, like if I have to do homework, or if I have to do, create a YouTube video or something, I'm looking to see where the highest basically it's about keeping your vibration high. and then focusing on, and then doing it properly, like whatever you're putting your mind to, whatever you're setting your mind to, doing it to the best of your ability until you can, and then sometimes you'll hit a roadblock, and that might be a sign to change paths or to do something different or to do it a different way. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah. Act on your Hey Christian. Okay, and then I don't know, we need to learn how to have a relationship with ourselves. Yes, then we can offer healthy love to others. That is so true. And I don't know if the person is still here that was asking about the morning routine. But yeah, I can tell you. I get up every day, 3:45 a.m. Hi from Iran. Welcome from the U.S. I get up at 3:45 a.m., do about an hour to hour and a half long meditation, go to the gym, go for a walk, come back, do the live, and then do some work. And then every day is a little different. So, but it's a good morning routine because it's set. So, snore. Thank you, Johnny. Okay. Anyway, I hope you all have a great evening. Hi, Johnny from Mississippi. Yeah. Hi, Yusuf. Welcome. Have a good night. From myself. Oh, and we will be posting a new video. It's about mindset. And includes a small skit where I try to take scientific ideas and then make a little video. So check it out. We should be putting that up. I think Imran's almost done optimizing the SEO for it. And hopefully that'll go up soon. And Pumpkin says good night. Good night, Pumpkin. Did you say good night? Nope. She's just gonna go over near her food dish. But anyway, thank you so much. And thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. From myself to yourself, thanks for joining me on this journey. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night, 8 p.m. And then during the week, it's 8 a.m. Eastern time. All right. Oh, they said good night to you, Pumpkin. She said good night. All right. Take care. Thanks, everybody. Bye.